What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Alright guys, we are back with another 911 review. Today we're going to be reviewing episodes 3 and 4. I know my posting schedule has been a little off lately, like always, but more than usual because my week was disrupted by some unfortunate news that everyone should know by now, and 2, I had some things that I was doing with friends. I went to a concert 2 days ago. I went to see Ricky Montgomery. That was really fun. I usually don't do this, but if you guys want to check out my Instagram, I just posted something over there, some really cool concert videos, and while you're there, if you want to, you can follow. No pressure, just saying, you're already there, you might as well do it. So yeah, we're going to be reviewing episodes 3 and 4. I'm really excited to get into this, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So episode 3 is a continuation of episode 2. If you remember, episode 2 was really about the plane collision and Athena trying to figure out how to land the plane with all these passengers on it, things like that. We ended that episode with Buck going to Bobby's set to go get him before he even went to respond to the plane crash. So we open up episode 3 with Bobby and Buck in this stolen fire truck. Keep in mind, this is a fake fire truck. It's not real because they stole it from the set. And Bobby's trying to get in touch with Athena, and he's on the phone with Maddie. And the first thing that I took note of was that I found amusing was Buck being amused by Brad's accent, because in the show that Brad is the lead star in, he's American, but in real life he's British. And as we all know, Buck, or Oliver, who plays Buck, is British in real life, which when I first found that out, I was kind of the same way Buck was with Brad. I was like, no way this man is British, because his American accent is so scarily good. Like, it's so good. It made me think, like, I don't know if I read it, but I saw this one fan fiction on AO3 where someone came up with this concept that Buck somehow went into a coma, and then when he woke up with a British accent, because you know how when you go into a coma, when you come out of it, a number of things could have happened to your brain. You could wake up knowing a language you didn't know before, or having an accent. So I thought that was kind of a cool concept of, like, that would be a cool concept for an episode if Buck somehow went into a coma, another one, because he already was in one and he's been through enough. But it would just be really cool if that happened, like he went into a coma, or like maybe hit his head and then like woke up with a British accent to like show off his real accent. That would be kind of cool. So during this scene, Bobby finally gets in touch with Athena through Maddie, and he's talking to her and she's telling him what's wrong with the plane and things like that. He comes up with this plan. He's taking the highway, I think there was the 110, and he comes up with this plan to clear part of the highway off for her so that she can land the plane on the highway, because the way the plane is going, it's not gonna properly land on the right way of the runway. Does that make sense? You know what I'm trying to say. The 118 as a whole is just an amazing team, but like Bobby being captain is so real, because I'm like, how do you even think of that? Like, I don't know, it's a crazy plan, but it's like literally the only one they have. So once Bobby and Buck get to the freeway, or the highway, whatever you want to call it, they're trying to figure out a way to clear off at least a mile of this highway. And so he tells Buck,
okay, Buck, we're gonna need those about a mile down the freeway. A mile?
And we get Buck on a motorcycle again.
Copy that, Cap. Hey, stop! Okay, let's fire department. I need to commandeer that bike. Helmet, come on, let's go.
I'm sorry, we love to see Buck on a bike. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Someone help me. But like, seeing Buck on a motorcycle is just like, especially, this is off topic, but especially with this whole thing on TikTok, like bike talk and people on motorcycles. Some of it's kind of annoying, I can't lie, but like, seeing Buck on a motorcycle is just like, I gotta take a deep breath. I gotta take a lap actually. So eventually Buck clears off or stops the cars enough to clear off a mile of the highway. So Bobby is talking to Athena, and the whole interaction between them, like him on the phone with her while she's about to land the plane, that whole interaction is just it's so freaking cute. They're like the best. I know I love Buck and Tommy and all that, you know that, but I personally think that Bobby and Athena is the best couple on this show. I love them so much. I love the fact that Bobby will quite literally do anything for Athena, and probably vice versa. They're the best couple. I stand on that. I'll die on that hill. So as Athena is landing the plane, there's this, I mentioned this because I think it's just a really, really cool shot of, because Buck is still down the freeway like with his flares, trying to keep traffic from going, and as Athena's landing the plane flies over him, and it like shows him under the plane. You know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna put it in here so you're gonna see. That shot is so freaking cool. I don't know, like it's just so satisfying to me the way they shot it. Like, it's really cool. I literally couldn't help but laugh at this next scene. So as Athena is like landing the plane, they're technically on the ground, and Bobby is on top of the fire truck, and the plane is coming right at him. And sometimes I get so caught up in this show because the emergencies and stuff are so like realistic. I'm like, dang, this is like really good. And then like he's on top of the fire truck, and this is him, and the plane comes like this close.
Welcome to Los Angeles.
And I'm like, sometimes I forget that this is TV. Sometimes I forget that this is so Hollywood. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding? Like, me and my mom couldn't help but laugh because I'm just like, wow. Like, the plane stopping just in time. And him on the phone being like, welcome to Los Angeles. I'm literally crying. I love Bobby so much. It took me out of it, not in a bad way, but it just took me out of it because I was like, oh my gosh, like that was a little too perfect. Like, I can't. So once the plane stopped, they're obviously evacuating people off the plane, and they have to use one of those like inflatable slides for people to like jump onto and slide down. Brad is helping Bobby like get people off of the slide or whatever. And this is such a side note, I love Brad. Brad is so funny. I wish Brad kind of would have stuck around a little longer, because he's gonna be, I think the next episode is his last episode. First of all, I love the fact that Brad got what he wanted, to work side by side with like Bobby in a real emergency to like help him guide his role as a fire captain. But he's just so enthusiastic about it, and he's so dramatic. Like, people coming down the slide and being like, oh my god, you look like that actor. He's like, I get that a lot. Talking in his American accent is like, and then him talking to the little girl, and she's like, you're a real firefighter, right? He's like, yeah. And then she shows him her leg that got cut open, and he faints. Brad is funny, but I'm really glad that he got that experience to help him with his role. After all this, they're getting people off the plane, and they're transporting people to the hospital. But if we remember in the last episode, Athena and Dennis are still technically on the run because someone is trying to kill Dennis, her prisoner. Athena like immediately is like back to work. Like, even after that traumatic having to land a plane is like crazy, but she's immediately back to work, and she's calling her captain and asking if like the guy that tried to take her prisoner was ever put into custody, and he wasn't. The people who first assigned her to this job, they're on the scene where everyone is getting taken to the hospital, and Athena asks Bobby for a favor because she has a suspicion that someone is undercover within this team on this case. And I love the fact that Bobby will literally do anything for Athena. Like, she'll ask him for a favor and he's like immediately yes. Like, he won't say no. Bobby's like, I can't. Obviously, Bobby creates a diversion for her when the two agents come looking for her, and he tells them that they're in an ambulance that they're not in. They're actually in his fire truck, or the fake fire truck. So he leads them astray, and then they go to find this black book that they're looking for that the prisoner that was bunked with Dennis had. And it has a bunch of names in it of people that were working with him when it comes to like the sex trafficking, stuff like that. They go to the airport because that's where the black book is held. So they go and they find it in this guy's car. Once they find it, they're gonna go leave, but as they're about to leave, one of the agents, I think his name was Agent Spencer, finds them there because he is the one undercover within this case. This next scene is absolutely crazy. Like, so much happens in such a short amount of time, and I'm just like, what is going on? He's there and he's threatening to kill them if he doesn't get the book. And so Bobby at first is like confused. He's like, who sent you? Like, why are you here for the book? But Athena is like so smart and she's on top of it, and she's like, oh, he wants the book because he's in it. Like, he doesn't want to turn it in for evidence. He wants to destroy it. You know, he's threatening to shoot them and they won't give him the book. So he's like,
Fine, I'll just shoot your husband. No!
And I'm just like, yes, yeah. Like, not yes that he got shot, but yes that, like, because I know the whole thing with him, like, he killed Athena's fiance. I don't think they were married yet. Yeah. So I'm just like, dude, he's like really trying to show that he's changed. And that would have just been a whole nother thing if Bobby got shot. Like, wow. They're about to go and check on him, but then the guy's still threatening them to give him the book. Dennis is a real MVP, bro. Like, Dennis is so coming in clutch this episode because he's like right below him, the agent. He's right below him, and the guy's still holding the gun to Bobby and Athena, and he still has, I didn't mention this in the last episode, but he made a shiv to help this girl with her leg. So he still has the shiv on him. He takes it out and he takes it out and stabs the guy in his groin.
I'll just have to improvise.
So, like, Dennis is really coming in clutch this episode, because I was like, dang, he took the bullet for Bobby and he took down the agent. Because I believe he is a good person. So after that whole thing, they resolve all of that, and like the agent is put into custody and Dennis gets reunited with his family. Athena agrees to let him go because obviously he's shown that he's a better person than he was before. Now, at the end of this episode, we move to the 118 getting their daily inspection from Gerard because he is finally out of the hospital. His head wrapped. He looks stupid. He's going down the line, obviously degrading them. I feel like he low-key has a soft spot for Eddie. He's not nearly as hard on Eddie as he is with everyone else, but he's still kind of like, you know. And then we get to Buck, and Buck's face is so funny. He's like terrified because he thinks that he's gonna fire him.
Sir, yes, sir.
He gets to Buck and he's like,
You saved my life. You feel these arms, son? This is me taking you under my wing.
and the team's reaction is like the funniest thing ever because they're like, at the end of the episode, I turned on my mom and I was like, honestly, that just seems like so much worse than being hated by Gerard. Getting taken under his wing is actually insane. Like, and you can tell Buck is so uncomfortable. So that's how we end episode 3. Obviously, if there's anything else that I missed in this episode that you want to know my opinion on, feel free to leave it in the comments and I'll answer it for you. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to episode 4. I didn't take as many notes for this one, but there's still some things that I took note of that I wanted to bring up. We open up episode 4 with Buck golfing with Gerard because now that he's taken him under his wing, they're all buddy-buddy now. Well, not really on Buck's side, but like Gerard is all buddy-buddy with Buck. And something I didn't notice that happened during this scene until I was like watching like edits on TikTok is that one of Buck's shots, like the golf ball, instead of going out into like the green, it went up into like the nets on top of the ceiling.
That's what happens with Captain Coddle. Nash was a cobbler.
And I was like, how did he even do that? And someone was like, I wonder if that was scripted or if that was just a blooper. And I'm like, I would love to know. But during this golfing scene, Gerard is like obviously doing what he does best and talking bad about the 118 and talking bad about Bobby. And the way he talks about Bobby almost sounds like jealousy.
I mean, yeah, sure. He's a great guy. Beloved. Know what no one's ever accused me of being?
Beloved?
I mean, I would be jealous of Bobby. Like, he's like kind of an icon. I mean, the whole Firehouse is iconic because they go through so much crazy things. Like, they're really known as being the people that get called on crazy calls. So yeah, during this, he's talking about how they're needing to make budget cuts, and so he tells Buck that
You've been working with these mooks the last several years. You know who's who and what's what.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which is why you are going to tell me who to fire.
and Buck is just like, you want me to choose one of the people that I've been working with for several years to fire? And Gerard's just like, yeah, like that's what you get when you save the captain's life. Like, you get to make the list instead of being on it. And I'm like, well, I don't think, I think both sides is not a good place to be. You know what I mean? Like, during this episode, and I think this carries on because this was happening in season 7 too, I think. Hen and Karen are still fighting to get Mara back, their foster child, because Councilwoman Ortiz, I forgot how to say her name. Councilwoman Ortiz is angry with Hen because her son died under the 118's watch. Now, I'm gonna be really honest. I do not remember the councilwoman's son in this show. I would love if you guys could refresh me on that, because I truly don't remember when this happened. Me and my mom were speculating that it might have been, I don't remember what season, but it might have been that one guy that got in that car accident. And he was like refusing care because he was like, I'm fine. And then so Hen was like, okay, well, we're going to go to someone else that needs medical attention. And then he ended up like collapsing and dying. I don't know if that's the one, but if you guys remember, if you could refresh my memory, I would really appreciate that, because I do not remember the councilwoman's son at all, like dying under the 118's watch. She's holding that against Hen. She's been an issue since last season, and the whole reason Mara got taken away is because of her. So moving away from this for 1 second. So the 118 get called on a scene where a cheerleader has had an accident, and this accident is absolutely insane. His whole entire torso is turned around, so he's backwards. And I'm just like, can that actually happen? Like, can that actually, like, I'm not doubting it can't, because like, why would they put it in the show if it couldn't happen? But I'm like, dude, has that happened before? Like, in real life, has that happened? Please someone let me know. If you know, let me know, because that's absolutely insane. During this whole call, the cheerleader is talking about how his dad isn't there because he doesn't say this, but I'm paraphrasing. He's ashamed that he's a cheerleader instead of being a football player. So once they're transporting him to the hospital, his mom tells him that she's going to call his dad, and he tells her not to because he doesn't want him there. And this obviously rubs Eddie the wrong way because of what he's going through with Christopher, because he wants to be in Christopher's life so bad, but Christopher obviously needs time to process what has happened in the last season, so he's not really talking to him at the moment. They still Zoom and like call and stuff like that, but during the calls, Eddie has said that Christopher doesn't really talk to him. He's just kind of giving him one-word answers. So this whole situation with this kid and his dad rubs him the wrong way, because he's like, how could this father have the opportunity to be in his kid's life and he's choosing not to? And I agree in this specific situation, because he's only really staying away because I don't want to say he's ashamed of his kid, but like kinda, because he's angry, or maybe not angry, but ashamed that his kid is a cheerleader instead of a football player. And the way I look at this is like, if you are not ready to accept your kid for what they could be one day, don't have kids. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have a kid and then force them to be something that they don't want to be. Like, that is absolutely insane to me. That, like, you have a kid, and if they don't do what you want them to do, then you're like, oh, I don't want to be in your life then. If you can accept that your kid might do something different than what you want them to do, then have kids. Absolutely. Because then you could be like you could say when they're born, oh, I hope they grow up to be a doctor, I hope they grow up to be something. But if they don't want to do that, you have to accept that they don't want to do that. You can't force them to, or not be in their life because they're not doing that. Like, that is absolutely insane to me. So getting back to it, yes, I agree with Eddie that he has the opportunity to be in his kid's life, and he doesn't want to be for some stupid reason. Obviously, Eddie's situation is very different because it involves all that stuff, we know what happened. Moving back to Hen and Councilwoman Ortiz. Hen and Karen have a court hearing dealing with Mara and them fostering her again. And as of right now, we know that Mara is staying with Chimney and Maddie. Now, Hen and Karen have been in contact with Mara because they've been hanging out with Chimney and Maddie and stuff like that. And I didn't know, because I don't really know much about the foster care thing, but I didn't know that if your foster child is not under your care at the moment, that you can't be in contact with them, which I don't know why. If someone knows, let me know. But I was just like really shocked to find out like it was a problem that they were in contact with her, and I was like, why? I mean, they're not taking care of her, they're just like visiting her, but I don't know. During this court hearing, they're trying to get their foster care license reinstated, and the other side is trying to get their foster care license taken away permanently. So Hen obviously stands up to defend herself, her and Karen.
Councilwoman Olivia Ortiz blames me for the death of her son. So now she's using her power and her position and the life of a little girl to punish me.
Because literally none of this is their fault. They were perfect foster care parents. They took care of Mara. They have fostered children before. So the literally only reason why this is happening is because of Councilwoman Ortiz, and that she hates Hen because her son died under her watch. Which is an incredible abuse of power because she's running for mayor. That's really scary. How people in power can just like rip apart your life like that and nobody blinks an eye. And then they end up putting a no contact order in place for Hen and Karen, so they can't interact with Mara while she's not under their care. And this whole situation is just really insane because I'm like, you have so much power and you're using it to tear apart this woman's life and her family. How does that make you feel? Like, it's really not like Hen killed her son on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, that's wild. So after this, Hen goes to pay Councilwoman Ortiz a visit at her office, and she's talking to her about Mara and telling her that she needs them as her family because she's been, as we learned when Mara first got here, that she has hopped from house to house, foster care home to foster care home for years. And when they first got her, she was quite literally nonverbal. Like, she would not open up, she wouldn't speak because she was just that traumatized. And now, like, we've seen her flourish from season 7 so much. Like, she talks, she plays with Denny, she plays with other kids. Like, it's really honestly incredible to have seen it. Hen is trying to get Councilwoman Ortiz to see that you're using this little girl's life as a punishment to punish Hen. Like, are you that evil? Like, you're dealing with a child here, and you're risking putting her in some harm's way of putting her in another foster home. Like, that's just wild to me. I don't know. Hen is telling her that like Mara is all that they have. Like, she has a little brother, but she doesn't live with him. So like, literally Mara only has Hen and Karen. And Councilwoman Ortiz is like, well, I only had Kyle and I'm expected to live without him, so maybe Mara will have to do the same. And I'm just like, yo, this woman is real life evil. I can't emphasize enough that this is a child. The anger is crazy. Like, so during this conversation, we learn that Hen is about to leave, and we learn that Councilwoman Ortiz put Gerard in place as the 118's new captain because she's done a deep dive on Hen's personal life, and she knows that Hen used to work under him, and I'm sure she knows why Gerard left, or not left, I think he was taken out of the 118 firehouse. So she was like, oh, okay, well, let me torture her even further and put her former boss back in place so he could torture her some more. And I'm like, this woman is evil. Like, whoa. I thought I held a grudge, dude. Whoa. So after this, we see Hen go to Bobby's house for some advice, and I love this scene because it's the scene where like each of the members from the 118 go to Bobby for some advice. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember what season it was, but we've had a scene like this. Am I right? Where each of them come to Bobby for advice and their conversations feed off of each other. Like, I vividly remember having a scene like this before in former seasons. Someone let me know if you know. But I love scenes like this where they each come to Bobby for advice because, like, it just shows how much of a father Bobby is. Like, these are his children. Specifically, Buck and Eddie's conversation. Buck is coming to Bobby to complain about Gerard.
I have to quit. I can't take being his favorite anymore. He calls me his little buddy and he touches me. No, not like that, but you know, still.
And then Eddie is coming to him to talk about, well, he's specifically talking about the call where the dad didn't show up for his son, but Bobby obviously sees through this and he's like, we're talking about you and Christopher.
Are you sure it's not the,
You don't like it?
Now, while we're on this topic of Eddie's mustache, do I hate the mustache? No, I don't hate the mustache at all, actually. Do I love the mustache? No. And the reason I say this is because I don't hate it. I really do think it looks good on him. Is it my favorite facial hair look? No. Mustaches are like very, I think the mustaches where it's just the mustache and then the rest of your face is a clean shave, I don't love it. If you have a mustache and then you have stubble, I think it makes it look a lot better, in my opinion. Some people, it takes a certain type of person to pull off a clean shaven mustache, and I think he is pulling it off, but like, it's not my favorite facial hair look from him. If you know what I mean. I don't know. Let me know how you feel about it. This is just an honorable mention. We're moving away from this last scene, but this is just an honorable mention. And I haven't talked about it yet. But Buck, specifically during the tiger call, when they got called in because this guy was living in an apartment with a tiger and his landlord got attacked. Specifically Buck during this scene makes me like turn to jelly, because it's the scene where they come in and they've already tranked the tiger. Buck this season is just doing things to me, and Buck in former seasons have done things to me, but like this season specifically, especially with his hair, oh my god, I'm sorry. For so long in former seasons they have just been like slicking his hair back and it's looked so straight, and then I see pictures of him in real life and he has curly hair and I'm like, can y'all please let the curls free? They hurt us. Because his hair this season looks so good. I can't even get over it. And then like he's bulking up. Like, oh my god, his arms. Okay, one of my weaknesses when it comes to like guys is like arms. They don't even have to be big. But if you have like toned arms, oh my god, I can't get over it. But his arms, yo, do you see his arms? Like, they're huge. They could literally crush me. Like, I can't. Okay, all of that to say, he just looks really, really good this season, and thank you to whoever is styling him in this season. You deserve a raise. Thank you, and that is all. Now, we're skipping to the scene where Gerard goes to visit Bobby at the set that he's working on. You know, he's there talking to Bobby, and then Brad comes over. Tell me why Gerard is fangirling over Brad. Like, literally fangirling. Like, he's starstruck when he sees Brad because his sister watches the show. He doesn't even watch the show. And to see Gerard like that is actually so funny. Like, Brad walks away and he turns to Bobby and he's like, oh my god, that's Brad Torrance. And I'm like, are you kidding me? They take a walk outside, Bobby and Gerard, and Bobby ends up telling Gerard about why Councilwoman Ortiz put him back in place at the 118. And he tells him it's not because she respects him or thinks he's a right fit for the house. It's literally for her own personal benefit. Like, quite literally. Like, she does not give one... She doesn't care about anybody but herself at this point. Like, which is actually crazy that someone like that... I mean, hey, look at the situation we're in. But someone like that is running for a position that has so much power. So he ends up telling him that, and he's like, the person you need to get rid of in the firehouse is you. Then we skip to the scene where Gerard goes to visit Councilwoman Ortiz in her office. he's talking to her about Hen, and she is spilling her guts, bro. Talking about, I stopped her from adopting the foster child, blah 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 blah. Talking about all the ways she wants to like break Hen. So Gerard gives her an idea, and he's like, well, why stop at, you know, her personal house? Like the real way to break her is to shut down the 118, the whole firehouse. And the whole time he's telling her this, I'm in the back of my head, I'm like, Gerard can't be this evil. You know what I mean? Like, I know, first of all, I know he is, because if we let's run it back to earlier seasons when he first worked at the 118 with Hen and Chimney, we know that he can be that evil. Like, bro, we know. But this whole time, I'm just like, because of the conversation he just had with Bobby, I'm like, he's not this evil. Like, he can't be. Because, like, what is he getting out of it? You know what I mean? Like, to be this evil, what is he getting out of it? So he gives her that idea. Obviously, she takes it. And we cut to another court hearing. And this court hearing is to shut down the 118 firehouse for good. During this, Hen gets up to talk and tell her that they don't want this to happen, like, as a whole firehouse. They don't want this to happen. And Ortiz is obviously just like, she's just doing this for her own self-benefit. And Hen is like, dude, like, no, we literally have served this community for like several years, and like, they're probably one of the best firehouses around, to be quite honest. So during this, Hen is like,
If the council president permits, I'd like to play a recent recording.
Is this on topic, Ms. Wilson?
Very much so.
I object to this. This is outrageous. I managed to prevent them from adopting that foster kid. Good luck getting another hearing.
lo and behold, it is the conversation between Gerard and Ortiz, because, and I forgot to mention this, at the beginning of this episode, Ortiz put in place that firefighters now have to wear body cams like policemen. And when Gerard went to go talk to Ortiz, he had his body cam on. And I peeped this during the conversation, because when Hen went to go talk to Ortiz, my mom was like, she better be recording this. And then when he went to go talk to her, I was like, oh, he got his body cam on. So I was like, before she played the video, I told my mom, I was like, I think it's going to be Gerard's video. Lo and behold, he finally did something right for once. Like, oh. And because she was the one that put in place that the firefighters have to wear body cams, it's public record. So she can clearly use it against her. So obviously, and like, they dismissed the case, and like, people are trying to get a word from Councilwoman Ortiz, and she's like, no comment. So they get to keep the firehouse. So coming to the end of this episode, at the end, they obviously have the montage of everyone being happy. Mara gets to go back home, and the 118 stays together and all that stuff. At the very end of the episode, we see Bobby is back as the captain of the 118, which I'm like, please don't put us through this again. Like, this is the second time, that's 4, this is the second time we've had to get you back as captain. I need you to stop playing and stay, please, and thank you. But he's finally back, and they're wondering like how he got his position back. Like, how did he persuade Gerard to give up the position? And we see that he offered his job on set to Gerard. So now Gerard is the fireman on the set of the TV show.
Here's your latte, sir.
I think I'm gonna like it here.
Which I'm sure Brad is so upset, because he loved Bobby so much, and Gerard is like quite insufferable to work with, but we'll never know. That is the end of episode 4. Now, what I'm really looking forward to, because a lot of you guys have been in my comments telling me that ever since in the first review for this season, I said I need more Buck and Tommy content. A lot of you guys have been in my comments saying that these next 2 episodes are going to be about them. I'm so excited. And a lot of people were saying that there's going to be like angst. And that makes me nervous. I love angst. I'm a sucker for angst, bro. Like, if I'm reading a fanfiction and it has tag angst, I'm clicking on it, like, without a doubt. But it makes me nervous because angst could be anything from like an argument to an injury or worse. So I'm excited. I've been trying to dodge spoilers. I've seen a little, not really a lot to know, but like on TikTok, I saw some picture stills. And I don't know what's happening, when I see Tommy, he looks scared. I don't know what's going on. So if you know, don't tell me. But I'm really excited because the first episode comes out this week. Or not the first episode, but the 5th episode comes out this week. And I won't get to see it until Friday because that's when new episodes get on streaming services. Another thing I wanted to mention is I did not know how deep the Tommy hate runs in this fandom. Like, I know a lot of you guys who watch me love Tommy and love Buck and Tommy together, and I'm right there with you, but oh my god, the Tommy hate is crazy. Like, I'm seeing the comments and people are like, oh my god, Tommy comes back, oh my god, like Buddy's gonna happen this season. And I'm not gonna say anything because if you've seen my older reviews, like from last season, you know how I feel about that whole situation. But I didn't know how deep the Tommy hate ran, dude. Like, I thought because it was new and people wanted Buddy so bad, which to a degree, to a certain extent, I understand because they were building it up for seasons. And then like randomly in season 7, they put him with a different guy. I mean, man, people are diehard Buddy fans. And like, I don't even blame you, for real. I don't blame you. But I don't know. I just really, really love Tommy and Buck together. And I'm really, really interested to see where that goes. I don't know where I saw it, but it was something that Oliver, the actor who plays Buck, said that he wanted him and Tommy's story to be a slow burn, which I'm like, God, you're evil. Which I get it, okay, because it's like his first male relationship. So I'm like, yeah, okay, it makes sense that it would be a slow burn, but I'm like, God, it's gonna take so long. Like, I just know it is. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this review. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. As always, what you thought of these last 2 episodes and what you think is going to happen in these next 2 episodes with Buck and Tommy. Also, if you do know and you have any spoilers, don't tell me, please. I beg of you, because I want to be like fully surprised when I watch it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!